Assalamu alaikum again. Assalamu alaikum everyone. You are listening to Seemakhan on Seemakhanlifevlogs on the Lockdown Diaries. So here we are once again, back again with this view of the Adi Kativi palm tree and this back garden. So now, not worry about the view. We're going to be thinking about what's so important about Ramadan. What is Taqwa? What is Taqwa? What is it called in English? It's called piety in Islam, piousness. So, Taqwa has been mentioned in the Holy Quran in more than 60 locations, and the derivatives have been mentioned in more than 190 locations. We hear it mentioned all the time. Taqwa, Taqwa, you should have Taqwa. We hear it at the beginning of every Jummah Friday prayer. But the question is, a lot of people have asked me, what is Taqwa and how can I attain Taqwa? So today, what we're going to discuss shortly, only for about 10 minutes, is just the basic understanding of what the meaning of Taqwa is. Now, a lot of people, Assalamu alaikum, I'm just going to say Assalam to people. Assalamu alaikum to Heather Khan, who's now watching. A lot of people translate literally that Taqwa is just fear of God. And yes, we should fear Allah because that's part of Taqwa. But Taqwa actually has a deeper meaning, and this is what we all need to delve into in Ramadan. Because I really love language and I love the fact that the linguistic meaning, matlab hai Taqwa ka jo se deep meaning hai, right? Means a shield or a protective barrier. Matlab hai wo hame protect karta hai. But what does it protect us from? That's the question. Actually, scholars have said that this is the way of looking at it. It is there to protect oneself from what angers Allah, and it's also there to, basically scholars define it, it's like a protective barrier. The meaning is protective barrier, but it's between you, yourself, and Allah's punishment. So what could be more beautiful than that? We all fear Allah, we fear Allah's punishment, but how do we get this protective barrier? What is this Taqwa? Basically, Taqwa means that we are afraid enough, that I'm sorry everybody, I had a bit of a pause in there because the internet was not connected properly, and it basically, the internet shut down there for a minute. Okay, can everybody hear me fine? Give me a wave, Heather Khan, who's watching, if you can hear me. So, basically, Taqwa is what we are going to be working on in Ramadan, and how are we going to achieve this. Now, I put a post up today which I really love, which is an example with Umar bin al-Khattab, where he was speaking to Ubay ibn Ka'b, may Allah be pleased with him, and he asked him, Ubay said, have you ever taken a thorny path? Matlab hai ek path jisme sare kaante hi biche hue ho. Umar replied, yes, I have. Ubay then asked, so how did you travel along this thorny path? Umar replied, I rolled up my garment and was cautious as to where I would be tread to avoid being pricked by the thorns. So Ubay responded and said, this is Taqwa. So, I hope this example is not too complicated, but सारे कांटे बिछे हुए होते हैं, basically, उर्दू में एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ. तो आपने इस पाथ को क्रॉस करना है. कैसे हम क्रॉस करेंगे? हमने ऐसे क्रॉस करना है कि अपने कपड़े शपड़े संभाल के, बड़े एहतियात से, बड़े गौर और फिक्र से हमने ऐसे क्रॉस करना है ताकि हमें कोई प्रिक ना हो इन थॉर्न से. How is that Taqwa? Well, this explains that a person of Taqwa is basically really cautious and careful. Wherever they tread, jidhe wo apna paw rakhte hain, not because they're worried about the thorn, but because out of fear of stepping into what Allah SWT has prohibited. So basically, Taqwa is when we're afraid enough to not do the things that Allah SWT doesn't like, when we're afraid enough to stay away from the haram, when we're afraid enough to do the things that Allah displeases Allah SWT. And haven't you noticed in Ramadan, we're all working really hard. No one's watching dramas, no one's listening to songs, everybody's really strict. And one point I really want to emphasize so much that I've worked hard so many years is that we really need to change for the good though, not just for Ramadan. We have to know that all this time wasting that we do watching dramas and watching TV and stuff like that, that should be all year round, not just for Ramadan. Because if we come out of Ramadan and we are still the same person, so basically as soon as it's Chandrat, as soon as it's Eid, everybody's out to the cinema, got the gun on the car again, then you haven't really obtained the taqwa. Basically, you didn't work hard on the taqwa, because the taqwa was to be so careful, be so careful. But being careful in Ramadan is not enough, because Ramadan is your training ground for the rest of the year. So inshallah this year हम वादा करेंगे कि हम बहुत कोशिश करेंगे, हम बहुत कोशिश करेंगे कि लॉकडाउन की वजह से सो मैनी काम हम कर नहीं सकते, ना ही हम सिनेमा जा सकते, ना ही हम रेस्टोरेंट में जाके बैठ के खाने खा सकते हैं, ना ही हम बेकार कामों में इतना लगा सकते हैं। तो हमारा इरादा होना चाहिए कि लॉकडाउन का हम पूरा फ़ायदा उठाएंगे, और हम क्योंकि मजबूर हैं, अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने किसी वजह से हमें लॉकडाउन में इसमें डाला है, हम इसको अवेल करेंगे इंशाल्लाह। एंड आई वांट all of you to comment, all of you, every single one, कि आप कैसे इस लॉकडाउन का फ़ायदा उठाएंगे. How are you going to take benefit from this lockdown? How are you going to take taqwa? I don't mind if it's just a tiny thing that you're going to change about yourself. It could be such a choti si baat, but if you're going to change that about yourself, I want to know about it. And I want to know after Ramadan, I want everybody to write to me and tell me whether they kept up with it or not. That is the challenge this Ramadan. So I'm just going to finish up shortly because I've gone on enough, but I'm going to say to you, why is it so important to have taqwa in the first place? The virtues and benefits of having taqwa is one of the most virtuous characteristics a Muslim can have. These are the words of Allah SWT Himself. Quran chapter 49 verse 13. Verily, the most honorable of you with Allah is that believer who has a taqwa. Verily, Allah is all-knowing and all-aware. And through these verses, I think we begin to understand that these are the virtuous characteristics, and that if we want to please Allah and earn Allah's pleasure, we should strive to have taqwa. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri narrated that the Messenger of Allah was asked, which of the people are most virtuous? Kaun sabse achhe log hain? He said, a man who takes part in jihad in Allah's cause. They said, then whom? He said, then a believer who stays in one of the mountains' path out of taqwa for his Lord, leaving the people secure from his evil. So what is it? What is it that taqwa helps us with? Why do we need taqwa? Why is it so important? Because it leads us. Where does it lead us? It leads us straight to the guidance from Allah. That's where it takes us. And so I'm going to end with two quotes from the Quran, my absolute favorite. One is Quran chapter 2 verse 2. Such an important verse that we should have this in our hearts all the time. Taqwa leads to guidance from Allah. What is this so important quote? These are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which I'm going to give you now. This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for the muttaqeen. That's one verse. And the final verse that I'm going to leave you with is Quran chapter 8 verse 29. O you who have believed, if you have taqwa of Allah, He will grant you a criterion and will remove from you your misdeeds and forgive you. Inshallah everyone, we are going to see the relationship between taqwa and Ramadan. We're going to see that taqwa gives us the ability to tell the difference between truth and falsehood. Taqwa is what guides us. Taqwa is our guiding principle. So Taqwa is our guiding principle from such and jhood. And what I'm going to say to you is that the purpose of fasting, the final quote is Quran, Surah Baqarah, verse 183, tells you everything, why you are fasting in the first place. There is no point in fasting if you are not trying to achieve this. The purpose of fasting is to attain Taqwa. As Allah SWT says, O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may attain Taqwa. Only the words of Allah SWT are going to affect our hearts. Anything anyone says is not going to change us. These are the words from the Quran that are telling you, why are you fasting? What's the importance of Ramadan? What is Taqwa? Why are you trying to achieve it? So inshallah, this simple exercise has told you that fasting is not about just, depriving ourselves from drink and eating. It's our hearts. It's our hearts that need to resist these temptations out of love and obedience to Allah SWT. And inshallah, this is going to be a Ramadan where Allah SWT is the changer of hearts, and we do dua. Let's all do irada. Let's all do dua together, inshallah, that Allah SWT will give us light and give us nur to our hearts, and that inshallah we will find a way to get that light, and that we will itni duaein hum karenge that inshallah Allah Ta'ala will put that light in our hearts, and we will obtain the taqwa, which is what Allah SWT prescribed as a prescription. It's like a medicine. He prescribed fasting on us. It's a prescription. This is our medicine. This is the medicine that will heal all of our hearts. And when our hearts are healed, then inshallah, the whole of humanity will be healed. So let's all do dua together that we manage to achieve this. I want everybody to comment on what they're going to be doing to obtaining taqwa. I want all the comments. I want everybody to tell me everything what they're doing, and inshallah I will reply to all of your comments, inshallah. I do apologize, I can't reply individually on Messenger or anything like that, but please do comment, and I will try and give you likes, and I will try and wave to you, and I will also try to reply to all your questions and answers. Thank you so much everybody for listening. You have been listening to Seemakhan on Seemakhanlifevlogs on the Lockdown Diaries. Fi aman Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.